Once upon a time, not very long ago, in a small town in Andhra Pradesh, which is in India, the southern part of India, the sun was just rising. It had rained all night, and the smell of petrichor was filled in the air. The raindrops still on the leaves and the flowers made it look very, very beautiful. The postmaster, who was sitting in the veranda, was enjoying the beautiful morning. He heard somebody singing, తీయని దానిమ్మ కొమ్మలోనంట చిన్నారి పొన్నారి చిలకల జంట చేస్తున్న కమ్మని కాపురము చూసే కళ్ళకు సంబరము. On the branch of a pomegranate tree, there were two birds very much in love with each other, and it was a feast to look at them. That was the meaning of the song. He ran in the direction from where the sound came from. There was a little girl sweeping the front yard and singing, oblivious to her surroundings. Called out, Rattalu! Rattalu! She was still sweeping. He went closer. He put his hand on her shoulder and turned her around. It was not Rattalu. That little girl was startled, scared. He walked back to the veranda, sat down. What was he thinking? How will Rattalu come here? Why will she be here? What would she be doing now? Maybe she was also sweeping and singing. As he sat there thinking about Rattalu, his thoughts took him back to the day he met her for the first time. He didn't want to go there. He tried everything that was possible. The owner of a mill in Undarajavaram, a small, remote village in Andhra Pradesh, wanted a post office in his village because he thought it would help him. So he requested for one, and his request was approved. And the postmaster got his posting orders to Undarajavaram. He had always lived in a town. He did not want to go and live in a remote village. But there he was, standing in the post office, which was a small room which also served as a living accommodation. Because all his attempts to revoke the orders failed. As he stood there, wallowing in self-pity, he heard a feeble sound. He turned around to see where it was coming from. He saw a small girl, maybe 13 or 14 years. She wore a sari, which was very old. She draped it a little above her ankles. Her hair was disheveled. She looked very shabby. She wore a lot of bangles. And she said very softly, Aigar Pamper Paniki. Oh, this is Rattalu, the headman was speaking about. She is going to clean his house and cook for him. He did not like her at all. But what choice did he have? She would come every day in the morning, sweep the front yard, the backyard, singing all the time, and then wait at the door. She would wait for him to call her inside. She would go only after he called her. She would go inside and cook for him. Undarajavaram was a very small village. There was not much work to do. So the postmaster had a lot of time for himself. He would read. He had got a lot of books with him. Sometimes he felt like talking to someone. He felt like discussing something which he read in those books. But who would he talk to? There was nobody who was educated in the village. He longed for company. A few days later, when he was having his lunch, which Rattalu made, he called her and he said, Rattalu, how did you learn to make this? This is so delicious. Did your Amma teach you? No, I have never seen my Amma. I'm an orphan. Oh, this tastes just like how my mother made. And my sister and me, we love this. And he started speaking to her about his mother, his sister, his family in the town. And then on, every day, he would speak to her. Everything about his life in town, his family, his friends, whatever he did there. And little Rattalu felt as if she was a part of that family. And one day, he called her inside and he said, Rattalu, I'm going to teach you how to read and write. And so she, so excited, she began to learn to read and write. And after everything, after the whole work she would do in that house, she still took time to finish her lessons because she wanted to impress him. He was impressed. And he also found that there was some change in her. She still draped that old sari, but her hair was not disheveled anymore. She adorned her hair with those little flowers that grew in the garden. She was not shabby or unkempt anymore. She still sang, but the singing was different. There was something different in the way she sang. తెమ్మెరతో తయ్యాటలా తుమ్మెలలో సయ్యాటలా తెమ్మెరలో తారాటలా తుమ్మెదలో సయ్యాటలా తారాటలా సయ్యాటలా తారాటలా సయ్యాటలా వన్నలే కాదు వగలే కాదు ఎన్ని నేర్చింది నిన్నటి మగువా వన్నలే కాదు వగలే కాదు ఎన్ని నేర్చింది నిన్నటి మగువా బింకాలు మిడియాలు పొంకాలు పొడిమేలు ఏమో ఎవ్వరిదో కాని ఈ సిరి గడసరి. It was a song of coming of age. She knew the changes that were happening in her heart and in her mind. That was a song a girl who was turning into a woman would sing. A few days later, when she was standing at the door waiting for the postmaster to call her in, he did not call her. She waited and waited. It was, I think, 10 minutes, and then she pushed the door open to see what was wrong. She went inside. He was on the bed. He looked very sick. She went inside. She put her hand on his forehead. It was very hot. That little girl sprang into action. She became the mother. She nursed him back to health. She stayed with him morning and night. And when she was sure that he was getting a little better, she started going back home in the night. But she would come back early in the morning to see if he needed something. And then one such morning, when she came, she saw him packing his suitcase. She asked, Are you going somewhere? Yes, I'm going back to my town. Oh, when will you come back? Never. I am done with this place. I have sent so many letters for a transfer, but they have rejected them. I am quitting. I'm going back to my town. I will never come back to this place. She could not believe what she heard. After a few seconds, she said, Will you take me with you? Huh? What? Why will I take you with me? And he laughed. He did not know what hurt her more, his rejection or his laughter. She went about finishing her chores, and on that night she could not sleep. She knew early in the morning the boat would take him away. Why can't he take me with him? Am I not his family? She decided that in the morning she will go and insist that he take her with him. She ran early in the morning. He was ready to go. She just opening her mouth. He stretched his hand as if he was giving her something. There was money in his hand. He said, "Take this money, and I also told the postmaster who's coming now, take care of you." She didn't want his money. She didn't want him to tell the postmaster to take care of him. Her sobs were loud. She started crying and she ran away. The postmaster had no time for all this. He got into the boat. The boat started moving away. The village faded, and he saw a small figure standing at the banks. It was Rattalu. Why did she want to come with him? And how did she think he will take her? What will he tell his family? Anyway, this is for her own good, he thought. He thought that on that day when he left the village, that it was for her own good. And today, when he was sitting in the veranda, he still thought it was for her own good. But why? Why does everything remind him of her? Why does a moonlit night remind him of her? Why does a beautiful morning like this morning today remind him of her? Why the sound of bangles reminds him of her? Why when somebody sings, he thinks of her? తీయని దానిమ్మ కొమ్మ మీదంట చిన్నారి పొన్నారి చిలకల జంట చేస్తున్న కమ్మని కాపురము చూసే కళ్ళకు సంబరము. Still singing. Thank you.